Married at First Sight, season 16, episode 19. Ooh, wee! This season seems to be lasting for 3.5 years. It even looks like the cast is getting tired of repeating the same old grievances over and over and over again. Hi, I'm Tamara, and this is Tamara Lynette Tells. Let's see how much longer we can continue to talk about these old crusty relationships. Kirsten and Shaq. They went to see a singer-songwriter who wrote a song for them. Now, this was kind of funny to me. So the lady had Shaq and Kirsten feed her information about how they were feeling about their relationship and the process and each other. Then she wrote a song based on their answers. As she was writing, the singer sang a little line and Kirsten tried to mimic her, and it didn't sound awful. So Shaq and the lady were like, hey, you should sing a verse. And Kirsten was like, okay. And I was like, okay, let's hear it, Kirsten. She stood up and stepped in front of that microphone with so much confidence. I was thinking this might be a first where we get to hear a cast member really sing on this show. Child, when I tell you, the moment she hit that first note, it was like watching American Idol auditions. To be happy, to be right, trusting in the process, and everything will be all right. Kirsten. Next time someone passes you a microphone to sing, I'm going to need you to swat it away like you did Shaq at the altar when he tried to kiss you. Just turn the other cheek. Turn it. She was so happy and proud of her little verse. The lady was like, okay, way to sing out. And Kirsten was feeling herself. She was like, yeah, I always sing out. Always? Meaning you've done this before? Oh no. So afterwards, they sat down to chat, and it sounds like Shaq has really been sweating her to meet her family. Now, at first, she said she wanted to wait for him to meet them because she really wasn't feeling Shaq. But now she's saying that her dad doesn't want to film, which I do believe. Everybody's not trying to be on TV. Anyway, she promised him that after they were done taping the show, he'll get to see more of her brothers, cousins, aunts, and dad. He seemed kind of bummed that he had to wait. I don't know, Shaq. Be careful for what you ask for. A lot of folks have what feel like crazy families to outsiders. She might be doing you a favor by keeping you out of the loop. So he's carrying on about not feeling secure in the marriage. It's as though he's tying meeting her family to feeling secure. Maybe it's because she carries on so much about how great her dad is and she wants someone like her dad. As I'm talking, I think I'm figuring this out. She wants a man like her dad, but since he hasn't met her dad, he doesn't know if he's anything like him and not feeling secure that he could ever be like him. I think I even remember Shaq saying that at one point. So they met with the experts. Shaq announced that he met her dad, and Kirsten seemed super pumped about it and relieved that her dad really liked Shaq and even gave him an open invitation to come back. Meanwhile, Shaq was like, meh about it. He was happy he got to meet her dad and said he can completely see him as a father figure for himself. But there always has to be a but. But why couldn't we have done this 2 months ago? Dr. Pepper told him that they need to take the time to understand each other's family because every family is not going to be the same. But Kirsten did deliver her dad like he asked. Now, I don't know if Shaq is being a big baby about meeting her family or if behind the scenes Kirsten is playing games and intentionally keeping her family away. Either way, I am so tired of hearing about it. This isn't family at first sight. Her family didn't sign up for this madness. Shaq, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who her daddy is because you got to do you. And she's either going to take it or leave it. Not to mention, in her own words, Kirsten said her dad left them when she was 8 years old. So he's definitely not perfect. But Kirsten does have him on a pedestal. Chuck Norris and Gina. Now, Gina's comments about Chuck Norris left a sting. He's saying he felt blindsided, it wasn't warranted, and a character attack. And he's right. Even if she does feel this way about him, who cares? At this point, keep it to yourself because you're not trying to make it work with him, nor do you plan on being with him after decision day. So just let it go and enjoy the free excursions in the meantime. So to the confessional cam, Gina talked about how hard marriage is, and she knows that she had to give him a harsh review, but he's got a lot of maturing to do. By now, like I mentioned earlier, I think most of the cast is exhausted, and Gina is in effort mode and is like, "You want my confessions? Here we go. I think he's creepy with bizarre energy and he turns me off." There, you happy? Did your little microphone get all that? Later, they went horseback riding, and afterwards, Chuck confronted Gina about what she said. She doubled down and said, "You are bizarre and outrageous. That you are sometimes the silly, jokester, crass, dancing, loud, drunk person." And he said, "Yeah, I am eccentric." But then she backtracked and she said, "It's not bad, and that's why sometimes I don't like to point things out. If it's not bad, then why did you point it out as a flaw?" But she apologized for making him feel bad, and I thought that was nice. In the end, I feel like they squashed it and moved on. I'm sure at this late date, they are just counting down until they can move back home where they both live in the same building, which is kind of funny. Orgy and McKinley. I don't know why they've started pulling McKinley in. I guess so they can build up his so-called drama of slipping into Gina's DMs, which turned out to be a waste of time story. All he did was hit Gina up about some sexy friend of hers, knowing he didn't have a chance with her. They've been hyping up this "I heard you slid into Gina's DMs" conversation for what feels like 8 months, only for it to be that he was asking to get with her friend. That payoff sucked. That's 45 seconds of my life I'll never get back. When Orgy and Jasmine met with the experts, they were counting their little wins, and I mean little. "He checks on me, he gives me hugs, and even holds my hand sometimes." Really? After spending 8 weeks and 96,247 hours together, that's all you got? I've gone on first dates that were more affectionate than your entire marriage. Oh, wait, I'm not saying I'm a hoe. I'm just saying that I've been touched. Well, no, I mean, been kissed on the. Well, put my hand on it. Nope, never mind. Meanwhile, the experts are hanging on his every word and trying to piece together a little marriage out of the crumbs he's given Jasmine. Okay, so you touched her. And when you think about having sex with her, you no longer throw up in your mouth. There you go. Sounds like intimacy to me. So I do believe that this show was a lesson to Orgy. He's seeing what it's like to be in a relationship since he's never been in one before, and learning the benefits of marriage. However, Jasmine didn't sign up to be a tester wife, so there's that. Jasmine is still hopeful that there is a possibility that things will work out after decision day, but other than him giving her space to be more outspoken, we haven't heard her say what's so great about being married to him in the first place. So later they went kayaking together, and afterwards they talked about how they feel about what they are going to say on decision day. He is hyping her up, talking about he's confident in his decision. She's made the changes he's asked for, and she seemed more comfortable and relaxed with their intimacy exercise. Orgy, you better not be hyping my girl up only to say no on decision day. I hope he says yes and Jasmine says no. Nicole and Chris, it looks like she got her hair did. Highlights and curls. I like it. It's pretty. I wonder if Gina did it. So they set them up in this romantic setting, only to have them have the same conversation they've been having for the last 27 episodes. Nicole wants to talk about what they're going to do after decision day. Chris wants to focus on decision day, then decide what to do about everything afterwards. Until they figure things out, I think they should shack up at each other's places, like Nicole lives in his place for a month, then they go to her place for a month or something like that until they find a place. Whatever, who cares? They'll figure it out. They had the men and women gather separately. The Orgy said he's not going to mention Mac dipping into Gina's DMs because he doesn't want to get involved. There's really nothing to mention. Nobody in that room is afraid that Mac is going to take their wife from them. Plus, I wouldn't be surprised if Gina already told Chuck. She already told him he's creepy and bizarre. Like, why stop now? Why would she hold back about Mac wanting to get with her friend? Although I wouldn't be surprised if he flirted a bit with her too. So Chuck talked about Gina's comments, and Gina talked about her comments and said, "It's not a bad thing. He didn't do anything wrong. It's just not a turn on." Wait, what? You didn't do anything wrong, but you turned me off? That doesn't sound right to me. So Chuck asked Shaq if he and Kirsten have had fun through this process. He said they didn't have much fun, but he thinks they could possibly have more fun after it's over. Do you really though? Shaq has felt miserable and checked out of this relationship since like week 2. Meanwhile, talking to Chris, Chuck said, "It may sound weird, but I'm interested to see you and Nicole have your first argument and curious as to how you two will handle it. I didn't realize they hadn't fought yet. I feel like it would end with both of them crying for some reason." Orgy said he could see Nicole going off on Chris, but Chris being chill. Apparently, they have nicknamed Chris Golden Retriever because he's so easygoing. Meanwhile, Kirsten seems to be singing the tune that things will get better after decision day when they are less uptight and stop sweating the small stuff. I have to say, throughout the season, she has been the toughest one for me to read. I'm still going back and forth on whether or not she's being sincere. Jasmine was sitting over there talking all big and bad, saying that she needs Orgy to take some big action and fast. Nicole said she feels like he's waiting until after decision day to work on the marriage. Jasmine, Orgy has showed you all of his cards. This is who he is. Either you accept that he's not attracted to you and gonna feed you little chewy nuggets of emotional support, or you take the lifeline that production is feeding you and you jump the bones of one of the brothers they planted in that restaurant. What was that about? Okay, first of all, if you don't understand how productions work, let me explain this much. In a scenario like this, where they are taping and people are prominent on camera like these guys, we're talking and stuff, they make them sign a release first, allowing production to use the footage either without compensation or agreed upon amount. Since the rest of that big old restaurant was empty, I believe these guys were either hired to be there or perhaps random friends of the crew that were asked to be there. I literally did something like this for a girlfriend of mine who was on an episode of Love and Listings. I think that's the name of the show. A few years ago, she needed a small group of folks to interact with her and each other while pretending to be friends. And keep in mind, it's a reality show, so viewers are assuming we all knew each other, even though the majority of us just met that night. Plus, there were a handful of hired extras there too. But we all look like buddies, just like these guys did. Now, in my case, they didn't end up using much of the footage, so literally, if you glance away for a second, you'll miss me. So when that guy approached Jasmine and was flirting all hard with her, I wasn't buying it at all. This was not a case of a guy organically walking over to flirt with her. Production was in complete control over that situation. So I say all that to say that producers seem a little thirsty for drama this season, so they brought these guys in to stir up some mess, and for months promoted Max sliding into Gina's DM for some make-believe drama and showed clips of Chuck Norris kissing Dom to give us the impression that they were creeping with each other during the season. Meanwhile, it's footage from Where Are They Now or one of the many shows they probably have planned for after Decision Day. The good news is Decision Day is finally coming. It looks like they're going to drag it out for 2 episodes, though. We are already on episode 19. It feels like someone decided to shorten the episodes to 1.5 hours and add the difference on the back end by extending the season. We've been watching this season since January 4th, 2023. Since then, I've had 2 kids by 3 baby daddies. I'll let you figure out the math on that one. Okay, I'm rambling. That's all I got. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video.